thank you to Chef for their generous donation as a YouTube member. If you would like to join them in their generosity, the link to become a YouTube member is in the description. Hello everyone, and welcome back to All of the Above. I'm Vivian.
And I'm Caleb.
And if you might have noticed, last week there was not an episode for a couple of different reasons. The week before that there were two, so there's a little fucking weird. But for me, my thing was pretty simple. It was just my back was not feeling good, and you couldn't be there, so it didn't seem as worth it. But you want to go into what the fuck you've been dealing with?
Okay. So... Oh, for those of you who don't care, I can sum it up and then you can skip.
Don't assume they don't care.
Hey, sometimes they don't. Sometimes people just want the jokes and the funny shit. Short version is my water heater gave out and family drama.
Yeah.
Long reason. And I came downstairs to taking care of my mom's house to find, I think it was, after all was said and emptied, 70 to 80 gallons of water on the floor.
Oh, fuck!
Because we have, I used a wet vac and buckets to get it out, and the bucket that I used was 30 gallons. And I took about 2.5 of those out.
God, and you had to haul that up and down the stairs, and ugh.
Yep, so found out that she hadn't been taking care of the drain in the kitchen, so that somehow clogged the basement's floor drain.
Oh.
It then backed up, and then on top of that, the water heater... which I learned is 22 years old.
Oh my god!
Rusted out and was just draining directly on the floor.
Jesus Christ! Just fucking... It's like getting punched in the face, and then when you're recoiling, someone just kicks you in the back of the head.
And you've seen the basement and all the furniture that's down there.
I love your basement.
So... I had to move all of that shit by myself because it's 3 in the morning, and I was like, I don't want to deal with this.
Oh god!
Get the water up, and I moved the most valuable furniture. No real way to get around that.
Yeah, well,
drained it. Then later that day. Had to move everything, wipe it all out. Got plumbers out here, and plumbers with 2 dogs is...
Jesus Christ. Did you have to get rid of anything? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, actually. The only things that really got messed up were shitty Christmas decorations that people decided not to put away.
Well,
I say people because they're a bit old. Like, I don't know whose they are. Like, they haven't... A few Christmases I have not seen these decorations, but they're somewhat new, so they're not like antique decorations.
Just someone decided that they didn't want to put it in their fucking basement, so they just chucked it in yours. It's just like a neighbor's Christmas decoration.
My guess it was either Mr. Spicer or my sister. There's decorations.
I would dare say it was probably your sister, because Mr. Spicer seems not the type to I don't know. Like, he abandoned a bunch of shit, but he didn't. I don't think he would like have a box dedicated to Christmas decorations when he didn't spend Christmas by himself. You know, he would go home for that. Yeah,
it's very true. He did abandon a weird amount of expensive shit though, and that confused me.
Yeah, I,
Like, for those,
Lord knows.
like, the most expensive thing was, like, a good-sized box of Warhammer
Really?
or figurines. Yeah, like, not even just the little figurines either.
Wow. Do you like Warhammer?
No, but I already gave them to a friend who did.
Nice. Well, I'm
I
glad
was
they
like,
wound up to someone that would appreciate them.
yeah, because I know they can get it's an expensive-ass hobby.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God,
I was
yeah.
like, would you like a new army?
Made their fucking year.
Mm. But after that family drama, my sister is pregnant and with her second child, which was a surprise because her doctor told her basically you'll never really have kids on accident.
Hmm.
You kind of just you fucked your body when you were a kid and a teenager, so
Ah. Surprise!
surprise, hard drugs and hard living can fuck up your body.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, learned that one when she was telling me when we were bonding, and she was like, have you ever done cocaine? And I was like, no. It's like, don't. It's not fun.
Wow. Nice family bond. I don't think your nose would work with cocaine.
No, it's too much cocaine all at the same time.
Yeah. Oh,
But
God.
so she's in a tizzy and happy and hormonal
Oh, yeah.
and with COVID locking everyone down, she was like, I want to do it. She wanted to have her baby shower in late September or early November, or yeah, late November because it's August now.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom talked to her and she was like, that's really close to Christmas and a lot of people have been out of work. You're
Yeah.
probably not gonna, if you throw a baby shower that late, you will probably get nothing and no one will come.
It's true. It's true.
To put it blunt, she was a little more finesse about it, but I
Yeah.
don't know. I wanted to shorten that part a little.
Yeah. She had a little more breading on that chicken. You went straight grilled.
Which I really agree with. Like, yeah, you're kind of getting into it's the happiest time of the year. It's when people are putting stuff aside, and this year is really when people need that. So they're really gonna be focusing on themselves and direct family.
Oh yeah. I mean that's one of the reasons why like people have said that Valentine's Day is too close to Christmas, and my poor fucking brother, he has a birthday in January, so it's just like God. It's always
You need a little time to recover. I feel really bad for people born in December.
Yeah.
Like, you just get lumped in with Christmas. Like,
yeah. When's your birthday? December 3rd. It's December 25th now. Fuck.
it's better than my cousin is a Christmas Eve baby.
Aww.
So he gets like 4 presents for both Christmas and his birthday.
Damn.
And they're all opened at the same time. Well, we just wrapped them different and put them under the Christmas tree. You'll get them tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh man, that's why I'm glad I'm a summer baby, because I was born like right after the school year would generally end, so like I wouldn't have to deal with like that awkward in school your fellow classmates pretending to give a shit so they can get a cookie. Like, yeah. Didn't have any friends anyway, so.
Perfect time for that, because I'm the 9th of September.
Oh, yeah, you're right
at the beginning.
Yep. Oh, man.
But I felt bad, because I eked out, because I had a classmate who was September 11th, so.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of eked out on that, like.
Yeah. Yeah, you got out early. You got out early, like Seth MacFarlane.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, like, could you fucking imagine living as the dude who only missed being in 9/11 because you got hungover the night before? Like, how the fuck do you even cope with that? Like, that's why he jokes about it so much in, like, his TV shows, but, like, Christ. That's, that's,
That's a
that's, therapy ain't gonna do a damn thing for that. Like, it's like,
luck, divine intervention, fate, whatever you want to call that.
yeah, like, I'm trying to remember. I think it was the third Doctor Who, John Pertwee. He was in the Navy, and he had got shipped out for officers training, like, the week before the ship he was stationed on got, like, demolished, and that was the ship that, like, sent everything into a world war. Uh... or it was a big, like, a British ship getting sunk that really fucking brought Britain into the main thing. But I don't remember which ship it was. But like he was on that ship, and then had just gotten out like a few days before that ship had been sunk and everyone on it had been killed. Like,
Oh yeah, I know which one you're talking about. All I can think of is the Lithuanic though, but that's not right.
yeah. But yeah,
That
so
was a cruise ship.
yeah. Fortunately, on some good news in regard to your house getting all renovated or whatever is, I haven't mentioned it on YouTube yet, but I'm going to be doing my compulsory why the fuck am I taking right now to do a trip considering the pandemic and all. But even before I moved up here, I had been talking with you and Kyle about me coming down to visit, and it's been a year now, a year and a month, and barring a couple of things, it looks like I'm going to be able to take my train trip down to visit you.
Nice.
The things we're waiting on is we don't know how my unemployment check is going to be affected by the executive order and whatever, because there were a few executive orders around the same time, but the pertinent one here is that Trump said that there's going to be an additional $400 per week added to unemployment benefits, which is less than the $600, but it's more than what Congress was giving us, which is fucking nothing.
Yeah. Wasn't the only caveat like the state had to figure out 25% of it or something like that?
That's basically it. Yeah, is there's only a certain amount that's coming from the federal, and I don't know how much. There are some states that immediately were like, we can't fucking afford that, and so they're just not getting it. Illinois hasn't given any indication that they're not going to be able to afford it, because, I mean, you got Chicago in your fucking state. You got enough tax money to deal with that shit, but we got to wait and see on that. And the only real reason we're waiting on that is to make sure that our budgets are taken care of. And then the second thing we're waiting on is
best plan for no $400 than $400
exactly
and not get it.
Exactly. The second thing we're waiting on is once your house and everything and your family situation gets taken care of, because the arrangement is that I'll be staying with you.
Because I got a guest room.
Yep, you got a guest room. Yeah, well, it's not just the guest room, but yeah, that's. I want to be there with you, and fortunately, like, you're not, because I remember a great story you told me once, where you and Nate. I don't remember the time frame when this happened or for exactly how long, but it was a cautionary tale against living with your best friends.
Ah, yes, I remember this story. It was only a weekend. Like, it was not long.
Yeah.
That I lived with this man.
Go ahead and tell it.
Alright, ironically, we were visiting Chicago.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And we were sharing a room. And the room room only had one bed and a pullout, and the bed got claimed by one of the other people we were traveling with. So we were just like, whatever, we can share the pullout. And sometime in the middle of the night, hey, this man punched me in the back of the head. And I did not realize, because I was woken up by this, that it was an accident or something in his sleep. So I thought he did it on purpose.
Yeah. Have we said
and
that this man
back
is...
and slammed him in the middle of the chest. Him waking up to the same thing. We ended up fighting, and I scarred his thumb, and he almost gouged out my left eye in this.
Fuck! Wait, you scarred his thumb?
Yeah, he still has a scar on his thumb from... He tried to, when he was first tried to get it at my head, he missed a little, and I bit his thumb, and I almost bit it off.
Oh, Christ. Oh, man. Fortunately, we will not be sharing a pull-out couch. I'll have my own bed, my own room. But fortunately, you won't have to deal with me all day, every day for a week. Because, to my knowledge, you still got online classes to deal with, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you won't be...
Mainly reading and exercising throughout the week.
Yeah. Yeah, so you won't have all day, every day to be at my disposal for me to be bothering you. Obviously, we'll be hanging out. I'm going to commission Kyle to hopefully come up with a good one-off for us. Because I think that'd be fun. If you'd be interested, of course. And then... But yeah, I'm gonna... Yeah. But one of the days, I'm going to be hanging out with my brother for as long as I can. Another day, my dad's going to be showing me the house he and his wife are basically rebuilding from the foundation up in Melbourne. So I'm going to be gone all that day. And of course, trying to visit with as many people as I can. At one point, I'm going to hopefully be able to, on the way back from Melbourne, swing through Ottawa, because I'm going to buy a pizza from a place in there called Pizza Time. Bri really loves that pizza, and so I'm going to try to smuggle a whole fucking pizza in baggies on the train. So we're going to see how that fucking works, but yeah, she's had the shivers for this fucking pizza for a goddamn year, and I'm gonna try to get one for her.
I think Kyle has one of those vacuum seal things.
Can you vacuum seal pizza without smushing the fuck out of it?
I think it depends on how tight you make it.
Yeah,
but they do it for frozen pizza.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what we can do. I have to convince my dad to let me swing through Ottawa on the way back from Melbourne anyway. Because otherwise, how the fuck am I going to get down there? Because I'm not going to have a car. I'm taking a train down there. A 12-hour train ride. Honestly, I'm looking forward to it. Go ahead.
Taking the the scenic route, too, from the sound of it.
Yeah, well, it'll come down to whatever happens with... whenever we decide the actual week I'm going to be there, because I want to be there for a full week. I did an incognito tab, because whenever you look up ticket prices, do it on an incognito tab, because if you don't, especially airlines are bad about this, once you have visited a page and then gone back to it later, they'll jack up the price because they know that you are interested and you're coming back. So you pay attention to your browser history, people, because you're advertising whenever you click on a website. You're advertising to that place that they have interest. So I went on an incognito tab and I did everything but pay for a ticket, round trip. And I looked at the route and it goes from my train station near where I live here. It goes down through Springfield to St. Louis to Union Station in KC and there's a 1 hour layover in St. Louis. On the way there, but on the way back, there's a 3 hour layover in St. Louis. So I'm like, I'm gonna have to make sure my phone's fucking charged because I'm gonna spend that entire time sitting in a train station, like flicking through TikTok because that is the quickest way to make time pass. Because holy Christ, I have spent more hours just flicking through TikTok, not realizing that the hours are just dripping away.
Oh yeah, there's just so many like random videos that you're just like, doesn't really make an impact on you, so you don't remember them.
Yeah, it's chips. It's fucking potato chips of content. So yeah, we're thinking late September, early October, something like that. But we'll find out because we have to wait to see how, the development for your house goes. Has all of the stuff been fixed at least?
No, I have to wait for funding to come through.
Okay, funding to come through. It makes it sound like a fucking like government park project.
Technically, basically everyone in this house is paid by a government contract. So yes, the government is paid.
Nice. You can stick a thermometer up on the outside of your house and put a one tiny line of red felt pen every time someone sends you a quarter. Oh man. But yeah, and then there's you said that the guest room basically became a we'll deal with this shit later room.
Yeah, nothing bad, just more like, oh, these clothes don't fit anymore. Are we gonna donate them or hang them up until we? Because me and my mama both have a problem trying to lose weight. She has a weird medical reason. I'm just a lazy fuck.
Well, you're not lazy. You just don't know what the cause is because you've been working hard. You went on a fucking kick-ass diet that kicked your ass, but you were dedicated to that thing for how long? Like how many months?
About a year actually.
Yeah, I was gonna say it felt like fucking
11
forever.
to a full year.
Yeah, so you were on this kick-ass destroy your fucking body diet for a year. You go to the gym, but it's not as fucking easy as that when, you got to go to a doctor. You got to see if there's something underlying there because who knows? You might also have the same thyroid problem that I have. And didn't you say your mom have?
I don't know if she has hormonal issues, and they're trying to, and she has a doctor trying to figure out because she will swell, and they have no idea where the water that is causing her to swell is coming from.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm sure it's nothing serious, but yeah, get that shit figured out. But yeah, you gotta get some blood work done. You gotta go to a nutritionist. You gotta see all this shit, and I'm looking forward personally to I got a physical coming up. Not looking forward to that specifically, but once I do that, my specific health insurance provider through Medicaid says that if I pass some screenings, which for a person of my age is basically just a physical, they will give me a free gym membership to participating locations. They're not telling me which locations there are, but
Usually
I'm
it's
hoping
like an YMCA or community.
Something like that. I'm hoping that it's a good. I'm looking to find a place that has a pool because that's my intended method of working out.
A huge ass lake. Just go there.
Oh yeah, because swimming in fucking Lake Superior or whatever the fuck. That's just 1, allowed, 2, a good idea, and 3 isn't gonna get me shot and killed. But yeah, I'm hoping for that to go well. There's one of those Lifetime fitness places, um, like right up the road from here. It's got the big ass fucking facility. It reminds me a lot of the place that I went to with you that one time.
That's because it was a Lifetime Fitness you went
That's
to.
that's what I thought. That's what I fucking thought. I wanted to ask you if it was because it looks fucking identical on the inside.
Yeah, like, I don't know if, we looked it up because we were confused, because when we first went there, they weren't a chain,
Mm.
but now apparently they're a chain.
Yeah,
In a,
and I'm go ahead.
in a few cities, but be careful, they kind of, well, it would be free, so I don't know. They kind of dipped a little in quality, so
Yeah, I
be
well we'll
warned
have
about the hot tubs, that's all I'm saying, from what happened
to.
here.
Oh Christ! What the fuck happened there?
They weren't purifying the water properly, and people got sick.
Oh no, that sucks. I really like the hot tubs. I wanted to. Ah, damn it.
Yeah, just be careful, or if they don't smell right, like activated chlorine, I would avoid them.
Yeah, the main thing is swimming for me because when you're a person of our size, swimming is one of the best exercises you can have because it doesn't fuck up your joints. You get movement in basically the entirety of the body, and it's relatively simple because you can basically just go back and forth in laps. And usually they have the little lanes segmented off, so it's actually pretty fun. The only thing I'm not looking forward to is going by myself because
Oh
it
yeah,
doesn't
a
pay
gym
for.
buddy really
Yeah,
helps motivation
yeah,
and just enjoyment.
yeah. Because
Just like
otherwise,
you're just kind of doing activity, and that's the thing with swimming that kind of sucks without someone there, is that, like, unlike jogging or lifting weights, you can't like listen to anything or a podcast or.
yeah, there's no way to take your mind off of the thing you're doing, which is the same thing over and over again. And oh Christ, if I'm not intellectually stimulated, I can't do monotonous things. Like I can do monotonous fucking things over and over again for hours as long as it captures my imagination or in other ways intellectually stimulates me. For example, here recently, I went through a list, the America's recognized list of the countries that America recognizes as legitimate. There's like
Uh-huh.
there's a fuck ton of them, and I went through each and every one. I
I'd hope
put
so. It
them,
just says Britain. That's it.
yeah, yeah, I I put them all in a randomly generated tournament grid that I had to make myself in Excel or Google Sheets.
Yeah,
And
Excel's
I
easier.
did,
They're
yeah.
never gonna they're never gonna shake off the Microsoft branding.
But yeah, I went through and I generated this fucking tournament grid all by myself, and I went through each country and I ranked. I didn't rank them, but I pitted them against each other to decide which one I'd want to go to on a vacation if money was no object.
Mm.
And I did this for like 3 hours. Just that for 3 fucking hours. And it annoyed the shit out of Brie because I really wanted her to know what my results were for every fucking matchup. So every time I made a decision,
I'd rather go to Swaziland than Zimbabwe, Brie.
yeah, that I didn't do it verbally. I sent it through Discord.
So
And
a
I was
little
doing
bit
it.
worse.
Oh yeah, because she was in the office, I was in the bedroom. She was trying to work, and I was doing it quick because in the beginning, there's just I didn't do any research on any of the countries.
It's just
So
bare
there,
minimum knowledge and the name. That's it.
Yeah, like if I didn't recognize it at all, likely wasn't going to get a good score. And if I had a bad impression of the country, even if it was illegitimate, I just went with that because I'm not a world traveler. I'm not going to actually take any of these trips, but I'd rather go to a place I already want to go to than have to convince myself that it's a place I want to go to.
Yeah.
If I have like one opportunity to travel, which I currently do not, other than a train trip to Kansas. But this was all international. Um, Oh, I might do one for the States now. Ah, fuck, that's in the next 5 hours of my life gone. But,
Hey man,
but yeah,
it's one of those things where you look at states not thinking they're big, but they're the size and or bigger than most European countries.
that is true. That is true. But yeah, um, I was sending them like one at a time, and it wasn't just the determination. I would say which country was pitted against each other, send that, then make my determination, and I'd say which country won. And I just kept doing that, and eventually she was like, "What? Okay, I support what you're doing, but fuck, I'm trying to work, Christ!" And so instead of just waiting until the end, which would have been smart, what my solution instead was to send them in bulk. So, because my brain was stuck. Yeah. My brain was stuck in first fucking gear, and I couldn't get out of it. And so I typed them all up and then sent like a giant fuck list out of nowhere. And and now, because that's generally where we would send like pictures and stuff to each other, and she does like the doodles for the thumbnails of these episodes generally, and different emotes. Now, for a while, she would have to like scroll past like a billion fucking matchups, because for every country there was a matchup and a listing of what the matchup was, and if they made it past that, there was another match, and it was fucking insane. I had a blast, but being on the receiving end of that was not fun. Are you curious as to the results?
Yeah, I was about to ask you what. Like, give me your top 5. Let's.
Okay, my top 5.
Your Watch Mojo list. Let's.
Yeah, my top 5 places I'd go to if I had money, which I don't. Number 1. I'll pull it up here. It is tournament bracket, so it's not like ranked. Yeah. And there are a few countries that made it like stupid far, which had no right to. Oh my god. There's so many countries. I'm gonna have to zoom out. I can't even fucking see it. Alright, there we go. Oh, I zoomed out too far. Now I can't read it. God damn it. Technical wizardry. Okay. So you want to go bottom top or top bottom?
Bottom to the top. Let's hear your last one. Your number 1 last.
Okay. My what? I don't know what you meant by that. I'll go with
5 to 1 or 4 to 1.
I'll
count down.
Yeah. I'll do semifinals, final match, final one. Okay. So, in the semifinals, it was Netherlands versus Ireland, and Ireland won. The winner of that match went up against the winner between Austria and Sweden won in that match. The other half of the semifinals was a match between... What the fuck country is this? Malta. That's... Malta had...
I know Malta. Yeah.
Malta had no right to get as far as it did, but it got really stupid lucky with its matchups. Looking down, Malta fucking it always got matched up with countries I either didn't want to go to or didn't know about. That's the only reason it made it to the semifinals. And it lost to Norway. And so Norway went up against the winner between I miscolored these. Hold on. Not that anyone can see that, but go ahead.
Trying to remember if I'm remembering Malta correctly, essentially.
I believe it's a European country, but I don't honestly fucking know.
South European island. No, it is not what I thought it was. I was what country was
Go
I
ahead.
thinking of? It was one of those little ones that's in Italy that's like 2 blocks long.
Oh yeah, like that. There were a couple of those in there. Um, and the other semi-final match was the United Kingdom versus Japan, and Japan won that one.
I mean, you went out of your way to try to learn the language, I would hope.
Yeah. So that made the final match, the finals match, I should say, because there's only one final match. The finals went to Ireland versus Sweden, and Ireland won that one. And then it was Norway versus Japan, and Japan won that one. So the final match was Ireland versus Japan, and Japan won the whole thing. So Japan is, and this was no secret. I already knew this going into it, but I kept an open mind because I do these tournaments every once in a while. I did them to determine I'm a favorite YouTuber and a bunch of other stuff. And every once in a while, I'll be surprised. I'll be like, oh, this is definitely my favorite, no question. And then it's paired up against this other one I really like, and I'm like, oh shit, maybe it isn't my favorite. But Japan happened to win this time around. There was a stupid amount of fucking countries to get through. I can actually share this with you so you can take a look at it. Let me see. I have your you want me to send? Can Hotmail accounts see Google Sheets?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, I'll send it to. It's 231. Yeah.
Yep. I can
Okay.
sign up to Microsoft with a Google account, so I'd hope it's the other way around.
All right. Yes, I have shared it with you. Now you can take a look at it. It's a big fucking, and I did it all at once. So if there's some confusing, my biggest problem with this whole thing was there was so many countries, specifically in like Eastern Asia and Africa, that I just didn't know existed. And because like in the American education system, we're taught like nothing about Africa other than Egypt. Like it's so specifically Egypt that Egypt is almost like I have to remember that it's in Africa.
Yeah, and that's not even a sentiment that you share. My mom works with an Egyptian man who is trying to figure out education for his daughter. And she told him, "Why don't you apply for African American scholarships?" He was like, "What?" He was like, "You're from Egypt, yeah?" He's like, "Yeah, that's in Africa, right? Yeah, so you're African American." He's like, "Holy crap! I didn't think that."
Yeah, it's crazy. And so there were so many times where making this tournament bracket where I would look at it and I'd be like, I don't know this fucking country, or the only thing I know about it is, oh, that's the one where that one guy said that the gays eat the poo poo, and that's
Like
the
just
only
the
thing I know
random
about it.
articles that come out of it, basically.
Yeah, and that's a terrible way to represent a country in my mind. But if I honestly, if I came into such wealth that I had the ability to travel to any country in the world, I would totally redo this fucking bracket by actually looking into these countries, because the biggest thing about this whole thing was if I did the research, I would get so excited about going to these places I know I'd never get to go to. But there's like almost 200 of these fucking places, and so I wasn't gonna sit there for 90 hours researching every tiny country, because this was just supposed to be a fun thought experiment of where I am at right now. So I felt bad because there were so many countries in Africa and in I think Oceania, whatever the fuck, the area between Asia and Australia.
Yeah.
And there were so many places there that I just didn't know fucking existed. And because of that, they ranked really low, even though I'm sure they'd be really cool if I went there. But, you know,
I like how you
I'm
say
not good.
that, and the first one I see is Kyrgyzstan?
Oh, yeah. I believe that's Kyrgyzstan.
Okay.
Yeah, Kyrgyzstan did not stand up to Spain, and I don't want to go to Spain. I have no interest in Spain, but I don't have a. That's why Spain didn't even get past the third round against Denmark.
Yeah.
Ugh. But yeah, so it's fucking weird. But yeah, so that's it. Really sucks that I came up in an education system that basically pretends that the world doesn't exist unless we're at war with them. That's America.
I mean, that was your education. I know a lot of these countries.
Well, yeah, that's because you spent more time specializing in it, and also you didn't grow up in fucking Podunk, Admire, Kansas. You had some portion of your life spent amongst civilized people, whereas I spent most of my childhood trying not to get shot in the face.
Oh, that was Kenya's first draft. I was like, who did Kenya go? I saw Kenya and Cuba, and I was like, and I thought they went. Sorry,
I think at one point, oh, it's okay. I think at one point Austria and Australia went up against each other, and I was like, that's so satisfying. I would never go to Australia. Fuck that. All I need to know about Australia is that they have giant fucking spiders, and like, nope, not doing it. Oh no, there's Australia. It lost to the United Kingdom in the first fucking round.
which is kind of ironic given your thought process, because I remember Peppa Pig got in a lot of trouble because of their spider episode.
Really?
Because if you did not know, Peppa Pig is British, and the UK does not have poisonous spiders. So the episode was made with UK audience in mind. So it was like, spiders are more afraid of you than, or basically spiders are harmless. Just pick it up and let it go outside. Very bad thing to teach an international audience.
Yeah, that
So
sucks.
I just thought it was kind of funny that fear of spiders kept you from Australia to go to a place that has no poisonous spiders.
Yeah. I can't. I fucking can't deal with spiders, dude. I'm straight up arachnophobic. I have a genuine, terrible, irrational fear of them. And it is.
I get that. Have you seen?
Yeah.
I think, outside Xbox talked about it, but I think there's a list that Reddit compiles that's like games for arachnophobes that are basically, it tells you what games to avoid and what games you're free to play.
Well, that's good, because nothing is fucking worse than when I'm scrolling at night on TikTok and then all of a sudden someone's like, look at my fucking arachnid thing, my giant tarantula, and I'm like, God damn it!
I want to, what was the thought process between Barbados and Ireland? Because that's kind of interesting.
Barbados and Ireland. Well, the main thing is that I don't know a damn thing about Barbados other than it's linked to pirate history, but I fucking love Ireland.
Yeah, Barbados is Caribbean, very relaxed, very tourist friendly.
Yeah. I imagine it is, but I also don't like hot climates.
Yeah, so you'd be on an island in the middle of the Gulf.
Yeah.
Tanning.
A lot of humidity, a lot of heat. Yeah, not a fan. Hell, it's been 90 degrees up here recently because the fucking high pressure systems are getting pushed north because of the hurricane. the hurricanes that are about to hit. And because there's fucking plural now. There's multiple hurricanes hitting at the same time, almost in the exact same place.
Yep.
But all the fucking high pressure systems have gotten pushed north, and so up here it's just been stuffy and hot, and we got that fucking like land hurricane or whatever the hell it's called that went through, destroyed Iowa, but like we got hit by it too. That's the tornado that fucked up things here for a while.
Yeah.
And like my weather app says like, oh, it's gonna be 90, 90, 90, and then the next day it's like 79, 76. I'm like, yeah, no kidding. I wonder when the fucking high pressure, because it's not just hot out. When you go outside, it feels like you're being pushed. Like that's how much pressure is up here right now. But yeah. So the point.
You can rent out Luxembourg.
What the fuck does that mean?
Luxembourg is on Airbnb. You can rent out the entire country.
That okay, I don't know what to do with that knowledge. I don't know how to process that knowledge. I'm confused. Oh Christ! But
they got rented out by a few people. I think the most recent was Snoop Dogg.
You know what? Fair play to him. He can rent a country all he fucking wants.
To be fair, I looked at the price. It's about the same to set up a convention that it is to rent out the entire country.
That's nuts. What do you get renting a country? Because all the people that are there don't give a shit, probably.
They rename streets for you. You get basically every place in town becomes in the country is free to you because you've rented out the entire country.
So
you get set up in a ski lodge. They decorate the side of a mountain with whatever you want.
Wow.
You know those like rock pictures that they do in some countries? They do that. You get fireworks. You get to hang out with their royalty. Free drinks and dinner for, I think it's a whole week to a weekend.
Jesus Christ.
But
Mr. Beast needs to get on this.
But their whole, the whole idea behind it was they needed more tourist money and they thought it was funny.
Yeah, I mean that reminds me of the city in America where you can become mayor for a day and you can just do the fuck whatever you want. That's nuts. That I seriously think Mr. Beast needs to fucking do that. Just, and
instead of the YouTuber normal convention, we rented out Luxembourg.
Yeah, we just rented a whole fucking country. Fuck it. Let's do this thing. That's insane.
Shit. Where are you? I'm on PewDiePie Avenue. Gotta go to Markiplier Lane. It's down there.
Do those street names last forever, or is that just like a temporary perk?
It's just a temporary perk.
Okay.
They change it back once you leave.
Being a fucking Uber driver in Luxembourg has got to be fucking annoying.
Just like, damn, they better update these maps.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Well, but yeah, so the main point is that in, what would you say, about a week you'll be able to know when I can come down, or...
Yeah, about a week. Awesome. We should have everything... Because I talked to the plumbers, and it'll only take a day to get swapped out, and it'll be on the 4th is when we have the cash freed up.
Nice.
Because technically I am retired, and so I'm helping my mother pay for this, but taking money out of a retirement account is a pain in the ass, and it costs you way more to do.
Oh yeah, I fucking bet. I fucking bet.
So I have to wait for cash to be freed out at the allotted time to help.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
and
I take, I believe, a 15% interest.
yeah, because isn't there like there's a cash shortage right now, isn't there? Or is it just coins?
I think it's just coin at the moment.
Yeah,
Which is
yeah.
also ironic. Have you heard, what was it? There was a few economists trying to push that we should switch to digital and coin only. Paper
That's
cash.
that's odd.
Because it would save us, I think, half a bill.
That's a lot.
Because coins last longer than paper, obviously.
I sure do. I would agree with um cuz I think me personally, I think we need to get rid of the penny and the nickel. They're not cost effective and they barely get used ever.
Hmm. I
I
think
think
I think they should be made a little more cost effective and then phased in. And then we have to. It would take a fuck long time to phase them out, but I think we should focus on cost effective and then phase them.
yeah. Well, the
You
thing
know?
is if you alter the penny and the nickel to be more cost effective, that costs money. And then you're going to phase them out anyway. It's like just cut your losses.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we get rid of eventually, however you do it, the penny and the nickel, I think having a 25-cent coin, a 50-cent coin, and a dollar coin, I think that works totally fine. Um, Economists have concurred that in countries where they have done similar models, like charitable donations don't go down. The most amount of frustration is that uh, if you get rid of the dollar bill, then you have more people carrying coins. But like people don't carry cash much now anymore anyway. So you're it's a smaller problem than it might seem. And then for bills, I think like a $5, a $10, a $20, a $50, and $100 bill. I think that's a fine enough model. But you could even have a $5 coin if you wanted. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's the best.
I would say a one, two, and a $2 coin, and then a $5 coin that's not super like out there.
Yeah, I
Because you could either
suppose.
have the $5 bill or the $5 coin, whichever you
Yeah,
feel more comfortable carrying. Because I carry a lot of change now that I paid stuff
yeah.
in cash. Like, honestly, if people weren't lazy, because I know some people have opened my car and poked around. There's not a lot in there, nor anything you'd want, so I don't know why.
Like
I have probably
strangers?
like, yeah, I probably have like $30 in coins that no one has touched because they're in coins.
Jesus
Just
Christ!
in my in my car.
You
It's
have just casually mentioning that people are breaking into your fucking car.
hey man, and they don't take anything, and anytime they have, it's not been something I've noticed, and I don't
Jesus
keep
Christ!
anything important in the car, so
How often is this happening that you're saying it so nonchalantly?
um, last month it happened about 3 times.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah,
How do you know this? If they're
because
not
shit will
taking
be
anything.
moved.
I mean, it's possible that your mom went in there to move stuff around. Did you ask her?
Yeah, my mom doesn't go in my car unless she's getting a ride.
Damn.
I am the only one who enters and exits my car on the regular. And
So
I'm the only
either
one with the key, too, so it's not like anyone else could unlock it without me knowing.
so shit. Either you have the memory of a fucking gnat, or or someone that's fucked, man. Oh my Christ. Like
It's I see it as a little good and bad. It's like I know particularly the reason. It's because I live near um I don't want to put a bad speak. I live near poorer parts of town where if you look on those like watchdog websites, you'll see a shitload of people.
Yeah.
Um, it I've noticed that a lot of people are moving and moving up because I've asked some of them because I'm like, oh, you're moving? Where you go? Like, oh, we got an actual house in like Prairie Village, and I'm like, oh, that's fantastic,
Damn, that's a
Village.
step up.
Yeah, like a lot
Prairie
of them
Village
I've
is.
talked to
I used to
have
work
been
in
like,
Prairie
oh, we
Village.
saved up and before all this got a better job and was lucky enough to keep it. And I'm like, oh, that's great. It's just new people moving into poor neighborhoods and not realizing that they're messing with people who are working class who are not afraid to hurt them.
Oh, good lord. Well, best of luck to you. I mean, you're making me a little nervous to be there for a week. I'm not gonna lie.
Nah, it's calmed down. And Miriam police have nothing better to do at the moment,
True. Yeah.
so they've started actually enforcing like uh, speed limits
Wow.
and driving in through actual neighborhoods.
Yeah. Considering the big street you live near, I mean, I can imagine that that's not met with the best of fucking
Yeah,
reception. Because that street was already a fucking speed trap to begin with.
yeah, they've kind of eased up on that now that it's kind of known that it's a speed trap.
That's good. Because holy shit. I remember that one night we were driving back from hookah, and we were all in my car. It was you, me, and I think Kyle and Nate.
Hmm.
We're all in my tiny fuck car, and we're all a little high, and I was getting paranoid and freaking out. We're driving down that road, and no one was there, but I was like, quiet, guys, you're gonna get us pulled over. I'm scared. It was nuts. uh,
But
that was
yeah,
a fucking day.
I'm actually kind of waiting to see what they do, because ironically, with all of this going on, they just opened the new community center to uh, mixed reception, depending on who you ask.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I remember you saying that you had gone and checked on. You told me about all the different costs that we've discussed it. Is what I'm basically trying to say
Yeah.
in as many words.
Um, for those not in the know, I live in a town that most people do not realize is a town. Is a separate town, mind you. I live between two very large towns,
Yeah,
and our community center solely for our small ass town is for people who know it's the same size as the Overland Parks. For those who don't know, Overland Park is a very large city with a lot of money and people.
yeah, that makes no fucking sense. The qualitative size is Scrappy Doo to Scooby Doo, and your town's trying to be like Scrappy Doo, saying that you can do it what the big dog can, but you can't. Oh
Mm.
Christ.
So they just now opened like a week ago in their, and I'm kind of curious on what they do because they've had a lot of before this was even open, they had a lot of police outreach and normal community events, and I'm curious on what they're gonna do now.
Yeah. Oh man. I'm curious. What is your schedule like hours of the day wise?
Um, from
Like
my
when?
syllabus, none of my classes have meetings. They're all like read blank by blank, do the assignment before it's due.
Okay, so like when do you wake up in the morning typically?
Usually around 8, 9.
Okay, because I wanted to. My sleep schedule is so fucked right now, dude. It is almost exactly the opposite of what it needs to be for the trip. Because
I can get. You're probably on Ethan's schedule. He
I,
works 5 p.m. to 3 a.m.
yeah, yeah. If I was in a working condition, I currently could hold those hours because I'm. What I do is, it really started because I had a really fucking paranoid night, and that's kind of it just pushes it further and further along. And that it's warmer now, it's harder for me to get to sleep. Because we still don't have central cooling, and so when it's just hotter and hotter, it makes it harder for me to sleep. But I'm just up later and later. Like I didn't get to sleep until after 8 in the morning last night, or this morning, I guess. And that is when the train would leave. So
Hey, that would make the train ride go by.
It would if one I can sleep on a train, which I don't know if I can yet. Like in physical ability to, because I don't know how I'm gonna take to the rattling and having to be in one position, and also the like sleeping in front of strangers. Like I've been on 4 planes in my time, and I never was able to get a wink. But I'm also a lot more comfortable with riding on a train than I am riding on a plane. But I also don't know if they like notify you, like, because I'd have to get off at St. Louis in order to not get fucking just pushed along. So I'd have to make sure that I was awake at the specific times, and I don't know how it'll work, but I also have to wear a mask the entire time. That's the other thing is I don't know how well I'm gonna do sleeping with a mask on. Generally, I like my face warm when I sleep anyway, so I don't imagine that's gonna be a problem. But the main thing is it's gonna have to be in a reclined seating position, and that's not how I sleep currently. I currently sleep face down, face smushed into the pillows. That's how I like to do a few things.
Now I'm just imagining you like stomach against the back of the chair.
Yeah.
Kneeling and just
Because that's when I took the Chicago bus trip with the choir troupe from North in 2013. We had to wake up really early, and I tried to sleep on the bus, but I just couldn't get a good comfortable position. And so what I wound up doing was I was slouched forward with my forehead smushed into the seat in front of me, mouth agape, just and just fucking like. And according to Nate, I was just like that for a long time. And he just let me be like that in front of everyone.
Hey man, sometimes you need sleep.
Yeah, it was shit sleep though, and my neck was fucked for the rest of the goddamn trip. But yeah, so we'll see. But yeah, if I could, I don't know how they tell people, because trains stop multiple times. Like I'm going to be passing through Springfield, for example. So they'll probably say like, "Oh, everyone getting off at Springfield, get the fuck out of here." But there's no layover, so I would just stay there, or I don't fucking know how it works.
I believe they check tickets, so they'll probably wake you up to check your ticket, make sure you're not bumming.
That's good. I'll be getting there plenty in time. And once we get everything solidified and I actually get the tickets, I'm gonna do all the research I possibly can. I've already looked at videos of people riding on trains, which is a niche YouTube that I never thought I'd be on, but there was this like travel vlogger that did a whole video about what it's like to ride on Amtrak and coach, and I was like, wow, that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. And he made it seem way cooler than I thought it was going to be, and I was like, damn, this is awesome. And so it's going to be fine. It's just not knowing what it's going to be like, for sure, because I've never done it. That's the only thing that I'm like about. But yeah, in case you're hearing that shit in the background, folks, that's Bree's in the office with me. She's working, she's printing stuff off. Yeah, you still with me, Caleb?
Yeah, I'm still here. I was reading while you were talking.
What you reading?
Your list.
You're still on the tournament bracket.
Because from what you've said, you made some weird decisions.
Like what?
Like you were like, I don't like heat, and then I saw like very cold country get beaten by a very hot country.
Well, it is individualistic. You know, it comes down to things like, yeah, I would prefer to go to fucking Spain over Siberia or some shit like that. But, you know, there's always some small little something sometimes to explain. I'd be more than happy to explain any individual ones you're curious about.
This one I kind of get, but I'm still a little curious about because I like when I travel, and I don't travel outside the U.S. a lot. I'm like you. If I'm gonna travel, I didn't understand Trinidad being beaten by Canada. Like you're already like maybe a boat ride from Canada.
Well, you know, it'd be inexpensive. And, you know, I have, like, shows that I really like from Canada that I'd like to see the tourism for. There's Canadian cities and different things that I'd like to go to. That, and there'd be less culture shock. Also, I don't know a goddamn thing about Trinidad. So I'm taking overly familiar and close over whatever the fuck. Because I'm not anti most of these countries, but I just don't know about them. I'm ignorant.
Just don't know.
Yeah.
Trinidad is also one of them Caribbean
Well, there you go.
piratey countries.
There you go. So it's if I want to get into pirate culture, I'll go to the Ren Fair, where I know I can leave at any moment.
It's also where a few of my family relations are planning on retiring because your dollar goes super far.
Well, good for them.
Like, last time I checked, $20 could make you like a week.
Wow, that's a lot. I just don't like the idea of being on an island, which is weird because any continent is an island if you just zoom out far enough. But like, just having infrastructure and the ability to leave to a pretty far away distance from wherever you're at, you can't get on like a fucking small island. I also don't like planes, so if it is a long ass travel, like most international travel has to do with one plane, but if it's like, oh, this tiny fuck Caribbean island, or like there were a good amount of countries that were small ass fucking islands in the Indian Ocean or off the coast of fucking Australia or whatever. Like, they don't have major fuck airports, probably, or if they do, then you still have to fucking take a plane to go goddamn anywhere, or a boat, and I don't want to do that. So I'm picky and ignorant. I'm not hateful. I don't have anything against most of these countries. Like, yeah, Iraq. Yeah, I'm not gonna fucking go there. Like that wasn't a hard pick. not really. It's hard to scratch off North Korea. Like, no, I'm not shy of saying, fuck going to North Korea. But for a country like Zimbabwe, I don't know a goddamn thing about Zimbabwe. So it probably ranked lower than it would if I knew anything about Zimbabwe, but I just don't know about it. Like I said, if this
Mozambique versus North Macedonia.
Yeah, I don't know anything about either of those fucking places. Every once in a while, I would Google it and see where in the world it is, because I would just look at a map and be like, where the fuck is this? Because I literally had nothing to go off of. And so it would be total surface level. I wouldn't read anything about it. I'd just look at a picture on a globe and be like, oh. And that would be it. How close to the equator is it? Well, I don't like heat. Or I don't like flying to a tiny fuck island in the middle of the ocean. Or some shit like that. So, yeah,
okay.
This is... If I had the chance to make these trips for real, I would actually do research. I'd have a travel agent. I'd do shit like that. But this is the travel list of someone who knows nothing and can't do any of it anyway. So I'm not too serious about it.
Okay. This question will probably get more in-depth answer. Because these countries I know are covered.
Okay.
Egypt versus Greece. How did Egypt win there?
Yeah. Well, okay, so there's turmoil in both countries from what I know currently. And the main thing that went into the Egypt choice winning over Greece, a large part of it, this is a bit different now considering current events, but at the time of making the list, I had to keep in mind that if I'm traveling, I'm probably not going alone, right? I'd probably be taking Bri, and if we had the opportunity, more people. And at that point, Bri was a lot closer to her grandma than she is currently because of some family drama. And her grandma really fucking wants to go to Egypt. So, I had the choice between a broke-ass but very interesting country in Greece or a more tumultuous but more easy to travel to in terms of tourist allocation that had a personal connection to someone in my life in Egypt. That really is what it came down to. Now, of course, that I don't know if that would change considering we're no longer really close to that grandma, but I feel like, yeah, it was not an easy choice, to say the least, but it really came down to that personal connection.
Okay. Valid answer.
Yeah, I like doing these. I've always had a lot of fun with people asking me why I think a thing.
Especially like these, there's no super loaded questions. It's really just, what's your opinion and why?
Yeah. Oh man, but yeah. We've already been going for an hour. I don't know if you want to get to the. We had. For people who listen to this show every week, we have been doing a format for a while where we basically jump right into the news sandwich, which, explained it every time, was us discussing current events in the world at large or our personal lives. We'd start and end with something good, but we would alternate between good and bad. You would have a list, I'd have a list. And I do have my list from when I was compiling it before we decided this, but we recently talked, I mean recently, like yesterday or 2 days ago, about it was just getting kind of depressing. Just talking about shit that is just pissing us off, which is sad because
you really didn't talk about. It was just like, yeah, something good happened.
Yeah, it's a negative bias thing, you know. When you get mad and you complain, you tend to get more angry and you complain more. But when it's something good, it just kind of ends there. At least it does for me. And I'm certainly more excitable because I tend to be more mad about the things I'm mad about than I am happy about the things I'm happy about, and that's a personal problem for me.
Yeah.
That's something that I need to work on. And there are
And if
certainly a
we
lot. Go ahead.
um something I decided was like if we do go back to doing it, I'm just doing news that interests me, not like good or bad, just like, hey, I
Yeah,
found this out.
yeah,
This is happening.
and I think that's good because just sitting here and I was the ranter. Let's be honest. You were more calm and measured, and you had more facts and were more interested in the things. And then I would say something and just keep fucking going and get super mad about it. And yeah, that can be an interesting dynamic. But like, I can't imagine it was the most fun for you to sit there for 90 minutes while I just scream about some shit. Mm,
And sometimes it wasn't fun, sometimes it was, but
yeah,
and I
because
can't
I do.
imagine like if you came in to listen to us like two friends chat that be ranted at or
Yeah,
talked to.
yeah. 'Cause, I mean, and I do have something that a current event that really fucking bothered me that I would like to talk to you about specifically.
Sure.
Uh,
I have a few, but they're all like hilarious. They're all like weird and hilarious, and I need to. And one of which I think you would know about. Maybe I don't know because it does affect wrestling.
oh,
But I'd need to double check the names of the people involved.
yeah, it's very possible that I know about it. Then I tend to keep up to date with some wrestling information. There certainly was a big thing that happened in wrestling here recently. The thing that I wanted to talk to you about specifically was and the reason I want to talk to you about it is because you're a student of history and a
Hmm.
wide swath of history, so you're good. You can understand why this is concerning to me. Um, Donald Trump recently announced that, in addition to his admitting that he's curtailing funding to USPS and doing all this stuff to kind of fuck up the mail flow, he admitted to doing it in an attempt to stifle mail-in voting. He straight up said that. Like, that's not conjecture. He admitted to it.
Hmm.
In addition to that, he said that he's going to be stationing sheriffs and law enforcement at polling places to prevent fraud. And as a student of history myself, that is extremely fucking alarming to me. And it's damn near terrifying. And not specifically because I'm worried something will happen to me specifically, but with all the various forms of voter suppression that have been going on, not only with mail-in voting, but voter ID laws, they've been taking out polling places. They've been making it more and more difficult for specific groups of people, and by and large, but in general, um, they've been making it more difficult to vote and have your vote counted. Now, and I can see why for people who don't listen to history, they'd be like, well, yeah, you want to prevent fraud? Get the cops in there. That's their job. Can you understand why I would be alarmed at having a an administration who's admitted to attempting to sway election results, stationing law enforcement during a time of great conflict between the people and police at polling places on election day?
Yeah, but you also have to remember people have been attacking just government employees too, not just like hell. Oh, one of my family's coworkers was attacked, and they work for planes travel administration, but they saw government tag and threw shit at them and their workplace.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not saying that all people that aren't cops or are government agents are, just saints that are just getting walloped on. I think the proportion has been much wider in favor of police and law enforcement being the abusers in these instances, but that's my observation. There's no real way to quantify that. But yeah, there have been people on both sides who were totally innocent and not trying to do a damn thing wrong to anybody that are being victimized, and that's not okay.
Hmm.
But
I'd say probably the closest to this would be let's see. I know there's a proper term for it, and it's not bushwhacking, but it's what's coming to mind. It would be Missouri and Kansas during the territorial period,
yeah,
where
bleeding
Missourians
Kansas.
would come to and vote in Missouri, or Missourians would come and vote in Kansas to sway, to make it look like Kansas wanted what Missouri wanted,
Yeah, and it was
and vice
specifically
versa.
over the whole should it be a state, a slave state or not. Like it was more than just that, but that was the biggest part.
Mm. And
Um,
that's what ironically I took a class specifically on my state's history, and ironically that was because of mass media pushing that message. Was Nebraska was made solely into a state because Kansas was thought to be going to be a slave state.
yeah, it these fucking the Missouri Compromise and all these fucking compromises. They were looking back on it, very easy to tell that they were band-aids on a gaping wound.
Hmm. Which is, this is also something I found ironic because a lot of people don't know this actually happened. The fact that we have a team named after them too makes it even funnier. Um, Jayhawking is a term coined where you would go into Missouri and burn shit down and kill people.
Yeah.
So it's not like Kansas wasn't doing it back.
Yeah, like in most things, there's stuff on both sides, but you have to look at amounts, and it's hard to quantify these things, especially hundreds of years after the fact. But especially
Mm.
now, like looking into it, it's just insane. So now I'm just looking at
I
everything going on, and
But if you had to ask me and what I know, it's I understand the reason, and that's like especially with the first first time, there was a lot of people claiming there was people just standing outside of uh, voting places and harassing people. Well, and putting police there would dissuade private citizens from harassing other private citizens.
yeah, but you got to remember that's not what they're being sent there to do.
Hmm.
He said specifically they were there to prevent voter fraud. And considering that a lot of the law enforcement agents that have been sent into cities like Portland or Chicago or anything like that have been sent without proper training on how to handle these specific things, but instead have been sent with specific missions to carry out. In unprecedented circumstances, how the hell do you have these proper things? But they're being told to do these things, and by and large, aren't agents of law enforcement agencies that are meant to be handling these things anyway. They're basically just being sent as Trump's troops to do his bidding, and his bidding in this specific instance is to curtail voter fraud, which is
Which
very
also
difficult to
depends
define.
on like who you get your spin from, because like take Chicago for instance claimed that that's what the federal agents were doing. So I texted a family friend who went who is a who was one of the troops sent to Chicago. He said we're all doing paperwork. It is Chicago police. We basically just took up paperwork for them. And I was like,
Yeah,
that's a
and
way to spin it.
yeah, it's It's difficult to define. It's hard to pin it down because when it comes down to it, the
You're
the
gonna get
main the
people who you're gonna get people who lie for political advantage, people who do shitty things, and people just trying to do a job who aren't properly trained, and it's all a big fuck.
Yeah, and especially when there's been deliberate attempts to keep them from being identified. There's hiding of their name badges and lack
Well,
of
that's just what
identification. And
federal police look like.
I know that's what I mean. Like it's when you have an unidentified person shoving a civilian into an unmarked vehicle and claiming that's law enforcement, that's what they're being told to do. And that's the branch of enforcement that is going to be at polling places. That's the administration that told people to do that are stationing
Well,
them at polling places, a lot of which have been so there have been so many polling places removed and discontinued. You're going to have a high fuck volume of people going to these polling places despite the pandemic, and a lot of them are going to be struggling with new voting technology or different voting laws that same day registration isn't a thing in every state. Some people will think they have the right form of ID to prove that they're registered, some people won't. And then you're going to have agents there that aren't trained to handle this specific kind of conflict that are going to be stationed at every polling place that aren't going to be equipped to handle it properly. And if you get just one or two bad eggs or bad apples, whatever the fuck bad things there are, then
and
you're
to be
going to
fair,
have
the polling place thing isn't all the administration. Like hell, I remember, we were in high school, well, and people were bitching and moaning that the only place a polling place could be was a church community center. And they were like,
oh yeah
we'd rather it not exist than it be in a church. And they were like, why? It's the same people. Well, the church just offered the space because they were the only place big enough. But we lost a
yeah
voting center here, specifically in my area, because people bitched and moaned about where it was, the building that it sat in.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to do with election day that should be different, and not the least of which is that it should be a fucking holiday. But yeah, when it comes to polling places, there have been more polling places removed during this administration than the last one, and the last one had 4 more years to do it. It's it's alarming to me. It's not a guarantee that anything bad's going to happen, but when I hear an administration that has admitted to trying to interfere with an election that has other countries' governments admitting to interfering in their elections, and for that administration's benefit, saying that they're going to be stationing law enforcement at polling places, it's
And
not a
it's not
guarantee. Go ahead.
it's also not a new thing. Like when republics started, you'd have guards there because people got, you know, for the
Yeah,
exact
but it's
same reason,
2020.
stealing
It's
votes to
Yeah, but it's
persuade.
2020 in America. It's not the same as 1700s America.
Oh no, I was talking about way back, and yeah, but that's a bit of the reason why you asked. Said, "Is this alarming?" No, not really. It's happened quite a few times in different societies. Is the mail thing is, but I also know that UPS has been bleeding cash for a long fuck time.
Do you mean USPS?
Yeah, the
The
mail.
reason US the reason USPS, you got me fucked up now. The reason USPS is hemorrhaging money is because of their pension thing. They have to prepay pensions, which makes no fucking sense. But that's the reason they have to do it. If it wasn't for that, they would be making money. And that was implemented during, I believe, the Bush administration in order to have. It was either the Bush. I don't remember what year it happened, but the reason it happened was specifically, and it was stated, again, this is not speculation, it was stated because they wanted to prove that it couldn't be sustainable so that it would encourage privatization. That's the goal. They're trying to get USPS to be privatized. And so they put something in
16 years before
right? And so they put this stupid policy in place by law that it makes the USPS unprofitable so that they can say that it's not profitable, when if it didn't have to do that specific thing, it would be profitable. So they just burned down the house and said, "Wow, it looks like your house is not flame proof. You should buy my insurance and pay me to build your fucking house for you." It's thug tactics. It's total thug tactics. But yeah, so that's the current event on and there's more current events on a global scale, but that's the big one that had me like shaking, like
yeah.
Because
now if you dick with the pension, you're fucking with people's pension, and that's gonna get you.
Oh yeah, I meant more
especially when the mail has been hiring people like fucking no one's business.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's nuts. I do have a few bits of good news, though, to counteract all this. The first one is a couple weeks ago, I cooked something from scratch.
Nice.
Yeah.
What'd you make?
I made a chicken noodle casserole.
Nice. So it's not even like something like simple. You made a straight up like, "Hey, Mom, we're going someplace special and we're going to a special potluck kind of dinner."
Yeah, and it was totally unprompted. It was something that I saw the recipe on a TikTok, funnily enough, and I was like, "This looks fucking good." And then I went shopping, and we had the extra money on our Snap card, and I was like, "You know what? I want to try this recipe." And that has never happened. That has never happened. Cooking stresses me out generally. I made Hamburger Helper. I've made it a couple times, and every time I do it, I'm like, "Oh fuck! If I fuck it up, it's gonna be bad." Oh Jesus! But I'm on antidepressants now, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, "You know what? I feel like cooking something," and so I bought the noodles. I bought special kinds of cheese. I bought chicken breast that was not. I cut up the chicken breast myself. I bought new casserole dishes because we didn't have glass ones. And I cooked it all myself, and it turned out really well. I didn't cut the chicken as small as I should have, but I also didn't know going into it what the best knife for slicing chicken was. I figured it out eventually, but other than that, and Bree said it was good. I liked it. It just went really well. It makes no sense considering my life leading up to it, but that doesn't matter when I have a good bowl of fucking food in front of me, and I was really proud of it.
Hey man, get yourself a binder and write it down and throw it in there.
Yeah, get my recipe book going.
A lot of people, I've talked to a lot of people who don't understand the sentimentality of a family recipe book. Like, I have one in my cabinet that's 5 generations old.
Damn, and you're an Italian family, so there's good shit in there.
Mm-hmm. There's recipes from like companies that, like, how they used to put recipes on products. I think some of them still do.
Some do, yeah.
Products that no longer exist anymore, like recipes for.
Damn.
Like one of them I was flipping through, and it was ironically I saw it on Good Mythical Morning too. It was for a bologna cake.
Oh man,
but that's handwritten recipes. There's company recipes. There's things
that was something that I was so fascinated to hear is like one of the reasons why there were so many Italian restaurants in New York around the time where there was the mass immigration from like Italy to America
Mm.
was because at the time pasta was like ridiculously cheap. And so if you knew how to make something good with pasta and just a little bit of something else, you could have a fucking business and you could sustain your family. And that's why every street corner had a pizzeria or a fucking or an Italian restaurant, usually with a family living in the back or on top of it. And because of that, at the time, pasta being inexpensive, it was a huge part of diets for immigrants in New York at the time.
So you never know what that little family recipe book will
Exactly.
save you. Or,
Yeah,
but
you hold on to that. I remember we had a Betty Crocker. Was it Betty Crocker? I think it was a Betty Crocker dessert book when I was
yeah,
growing up.
some
And
of
my
those
favorite,
recipes are phased out too. You'll never see them again.
yeah, my dad
Um,
still has the book. I want it from him, but he won't give it to me. My favorite recipe for peanut butter cookie dough comes from that book. And I have never been able to do it justice without looking at that recipe because every time I wind up fucking it up somehow. But
Hey,
now I
next time
can't
you're
have
there,
it, so
you got a smartphone now. Just be like, click.
yeah. Ah, man. But yeah,
But
so I made a fucking casserole. Sorry, go ahead.
no, you can finish.
So I made a fucking casserole, and around that same time, Kyle bought and sent me a fucking Ethernet cable, so now my streams are a lot more stable. It had to be a long fuck Ethernet cable too, because my router and modem and all that stuff is in the living room, and my computer I stream from the office, and so I had to buy a step ladder, and they didn't have any that was for my weight, and so by the time we were done just hanging up the fucking cable, the thing was already bending. Like it was aluminum. And if it had gone too much longer, like that thing could have broken, would have been bad.
Oh yeah,
But
I have
the
a
only
little wood
Mhm.
one around here that I use because I found that that wood ones last and can take way more weight on them than.
Oh yeah, because it's more stable. They're not likely to bend because wood doesn't bend. It is sturdy until it breaks. Metal will bend until it breaks. And so you have much more resistance leading up to the thing because once metal starts bending, then it'll just bend faster and faster until it's broken.
Hmm.
Whereas wood is stable until it breaks. That's about it. Um, but yeah,
But
we hung it up. Go ahead.
I was about to ask you too. I was like, how did you route it? Because I know Spoofy's a little more active than my boys.
Yeah, we run it. We ran it up the wall. We got those wire nail thing. I don't know what the fuck to describe them, but they're a little plastic hook that has a nail in it, and you nail it into the wall, and it hangs
Yeah, yeah.
wires up. And we basically ran it up the wall around the ceiling, along the corner, and ran it from the living room into the office and around and down the wall. Um, it was a little tough at times, but we got it done. The most annoying part, honestly, was just how fucking hot I got because all the heat goes up, and it was physical activity, and I'm not good with physical activity. And so by the end of it, when I started, I was totally fine, but by the end of it, and it didn't take that long, by the end of it, I was dripping, and it was fucking gross, and ugh.
I can't imagine your back is doing
No.
pretty well because you never realize how much your back tenses and does things until something gives underneath you.
Oh yeah. I was not good. But the most annoying part about the whole process, other than setting it up, was the fact that Kyle bought it and sent it to me, and the Amazon delivery driver delivered it to the wrong house, and I didn't know what house it was.
Hmm.
Because I looked at the picture they took, and I didn't recognize it at first, and so I had to call Kyle and be like, can you call and ask what the fuck? And so he called and asked, and he was out working at the time.
Ironically, doing the exact
Yeah,
same thing.
yeah. Um, and so he was trying to figure it out, and then I went walking around and I found it. It was out around the corner, so I found it, and they had put the package right under the numbers on the building that were the wrong fucking numbers. So when I told Kyle, he was like, "That's why we have high turnover."
I mean, he's not wrong, but
He's not. No, he's not. Ah, God. The only
yeah,
other piece of good news I go ahead.
Amazon tends to really scrape the bottom of the barrel with their training.
It's because they know that, you know, if you
Hell,
don't figure it out, then there's always more people that need a job.
the person who trained Kyle told me he did it wrong on purpose to see if Kyle was bright enough to figure it out.
Jesus Christ. The only other piece of good news I really have, I have a couple that I could say, but the main one is, you might have heard me a couple times in past programs mention the Golden State Killer and how fucked up I've been ever since I've learned more about the Golden State Killer. He got sentenced. He got sentenced last week to 26 life sentences.
Those are the things that I don't understand. Like we have disagreements on death penalty, but I feel like at 26, like that's just it's not like he's gonna appeal all of those.
Well, the only reason it gets up that high is to account for as many murders as he did. Like, that's however many convictions he was able to have, and so he just got a life sentence for every convictable murder he took part in. And yeah, it's a ridiculous number, but like, yeah, the whole point is not because they think that he'll be able to serve that long, but basically just to make sure that every bad action he took, because it's a separate charge, has to receive the adequate punishment considering that charge. Because if you count it as a whole, then at some point you have to think like, well, this dude killed 26 people or whatever. But if he gets one life sentence, that's 25 years. That means that he's getting just like a year for murdering someone. And that's way too little. Like, you get more for that for just possessing marijuana. You still with me, bud?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to
That's
find
okay.
names.
Names.
That also depends on your state. Like here, they gave up. It's still against the law, but they don't charge anything for it anymore. It's a fine.
Yeah, that's good. Like, that is a good point too, because there are some states that are just more bad about it. And the other thing to consider is that the Golden State Killer's fucking old now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, he's just now charged. I was like,
well, yeah, they only caught him a little while ago.
okay, that explains. I'm not super up to date on him because I thought he got caught a long ass time ago.
No, he only got caught a few years ago by a detective that was about to quit the case. He just had a small lead because some people were saying that this one guy was a little creepy, and then all of a sudden, because they did the DNA test thing, that through, like, it was either Ancestry or what, they found that he was the guy, and
oh yeah,
so as soon as
that kind of shit too.
Yeah, yeah, man. That's one of the reasons why it's weird, because I know my mom wouldn't do anything like that, or at least I know now. I know right now that she wouldn't. Who knows? But she refuses to do any of those DNA testing or ancestry websites, because they're like, she's like, well, you're just giving your fucking DNA to some company and they can access that whenever they want. And it's like, what do you think's gonna fucking happen? Like, well, turns out
Yeah.
the government apparently can just access that whenever they strike an agreement with them, and then they have access to your genetic structure. And granted, like, they fucking have all your information anyway, and it's not like they can geolocate you from your genes, and they already have all the information they could possibly want, but this is just more information that you're voluntarily giving them, as opposed to what you have to give them in order to be a citizen, like a driver's license or an ID, birth certificate, blood type, that type of shit.
Yeah.
So I can understand the reluctance. I think it's a bit hyperbolic, but I'm also not the Golden State Killer, so But it wasn't even, I don't know. But yeah, as soon as they arrested him, he like just went slump. He just slumped over, was unresponsive. He was conscious, but he was just not responding to anything, wouldn't stand up. They had to wheel him in there. They had this dude in a wheelchair, strapped down with an armed guard in a enclosed space. And he's like 70 or some shit, or 70 or 80. And they still threw him in prison. Like, because, yeah, you might look like the most fucking miserable shit in the world, but you killed and tortured people for decades.
It's that, they got nothing to lose, cornered dog kind of mentality.
Yeah, you finished fighting and you just give up. You just lay down.
And you never know if they're gonna just randomly decide to be like, you know what, I don't want to go. I'm gonna fight until someone puts me down.
Yeah, and the thing is because of that, because they couldn't get much of a testimonial out of him, we don't know how many more he did. Like I said, the 26 life sentences, that comes from what he was convicted of. That's not all that he could have done, because that's the thing. Like, we never caught Jack the Ripper or a lot of these
they figured that
people.
out.
What?
They figured out who Jack the Ripper was.
Really?
Yep. Through DNA testing, they found out it was their number one suspect. They just didn't have enough to arrest him.
Holy shit! I'm gonna have to fucking look that up, because that is I need to read into that myself. Oh, that's cool. I'm glad. But
that's
yeah,
actually what I was gonna mention earlier about they've done amazing things with the ancestry.
Yeah.
So I just want to know, like,
nuts.
because his family is still alive and in the UK. Hey, so I wonder what kind of news that was.
Yeah. I mean, I remember the first time I found out that Sam had a famous family member for something less heinous, mind you, than Jack the Ripper. But I was just like, man, if I had a famous family member, you could milk that for the rest of your life. You could, if you got the right connections, you could do something with that. And so now, like, it sucks to think that you're descended from Jack the Ripper, but you know how many
write a book.
Exactly.
Book tours, like,
write a book. Do a museum. Do something. Like, you're sitting on a gold mine. It's like the people that, like, I remember there was a question, like, if you found out you were the rightful heir to some kingdom's throne, would you take it? Would you assume the throne? Yeah! Are you kidding me? Shit!
Might as well try, like, god damn.
Yeah, because you would have the status and you could just not do anything. You know how many fucking royalty didn't do a goddamn thing their entire lives?
Still don't.
Yeah. It's like, shit. Whatever, man. So, yeah, the point is, I think that's a good thing. I'm glad that they got him. I'm glad that he is away And I'm glad that he's gonna fucking live long enough to hopefully succumb to the knowledge that he couldn't get away with that shit. Because I mean, his whole thing was that he did it because he was like he. I believe he said he was like he just likes doing it, but also because he was upset that his wife left him or some shit. And it's like, bro, you ain't gonna get away with that shit. And I don't know. It's a complicated thing. I don't like the idea of finding joy in having someone rot in a jail cell for the rest of their life. But at the same time, it's like I'm glad he's not getting away with it. Like it's the concept of justice, and when it comes to government punishment for justice is such a complicated fucking matter that I don't know. Like, as I was happy that Osama bin Laden was killed, but I remember Michael Buckley, OG YouTuber back in the day, he had the show What the Buck. He made a video reacting to the news that Osama bin Laden had been killed, and he was overjoyed, as was I. But he got shit on so hard. So many people were like, "He was killed. That is a dead person that you're so happy is dead." I'm like, yeah, because he fucking murdered who knows how many people, plus he was the chief architect behind 9/11. Like, how do you not find joy in knowing that that guy is gone? But then you're celebrating that someone is dead. Like, it's such a
very morally gray issue.
yeah, it's such a complicated thing to wrap your head around, but at some point you just gotta, like, accept whatever you feel, and even if how you feel is that it's complicated. So, but yeah, we've been going for 2 hours, and we didn't do a damn thing that we were intending to do. So if you want, we can do those next week.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think 2 hours is good. Is there anything
Yeah.
you wanted to talk about or do before we got off this?
I couldn't find their names. I know this happened.
Oh, the wrestling
But,
news.
Yeah. It was
Was it
an
the guy?
MMA fighter made like a benign post about like don't let bullies get to you. And somehow this blew up to a WWE fighter challenging her to a fight, like a legit actual fight.
Damn, I didn't hear about this at all.
Yeah, I'll find it all happened on Twitter, so I have no idea if that was if WWE was like, calm down,
Huh.
and you're kind of being a jerk, or if MMA stepped in, because all of this was like somewhat on their personal. It was on their like work personal, you know.
Damn. I think I might see it.
I will find.
I'm seeing something.
Specifically what that.
I'm seeing something that's saying that Sasha Banks challenged the Mandalorian's Gina Carano.
Yep, that's it. And Gina Carallo is a MMA fighter as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I see a Gina Carano tweeted, and just like that, I want to attend my first WWE Universe event. Sasha Banks and Shayna Baszler, two of my favorites. Sasha responds in a retweet, and just like that, I want to whoop your ass too. You wouldn't last in my universe, but you're welcome to try. To which Gina Carano responds with a gif of Will Ferrell saying nope. And then someone named Katie Sackhoff said, "Oh, I went on the fun. You ladies would both kick my ass." That's an odd contribution. But yeah, that seems relatively okay. I mean, I can't stand Sasha Banks anyway, but whatever.
Some of the things I found it from were connected it to where it sounded a little more intense than.
Yeah. Well, it's
But
possible.
that's the wonder of Twitter.
Yeah. There was another big bit of wrestling news that I thought you were going to talk I thought you could have been doing or mentioning. It was actually an attempted kidnapping occurred in the wrestling universe here recently. I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. WWE's Sonya Deville. She was at home with her friend and fellow wrestler Mandy Rose. They're currently in a feud, but they're they're friends in real life. They were at Sonya Deville's home when a dude who had been stalking her on social media for a long time and had sent her really creepy shit about like her personal family members and just had been going, and like his whole page is just like responding to or talking about her, retweeting all her posts, like a very specific just stalker obsession. Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose were set to have a loser. It was a hair match. Loser was going to get their head shaved. There's no confirmation that this was the catalyst, but it happened at this time where before the match was, it was about a week or so before the match was set to happen. This dude finally decided that doing this from afar was not good enough, so he drove from South Carolina to Florida, I believe, to her house, cut a hole in her screen door, and sat there waiting for her and Mandy to go to bed until like 2 a.m. Just sat outside her house waiting. Finally, they went to bed, and he went inside. He had pepper spray, zip ties, mace. Like, he had all of the shit that he would need to subdue and kidnap her. And later he would say that's what he was intending to do, was to go inside and take her. But when he went inside, it triggered an alarm that woke Sonya up. She looked out and saw that this dude was in her house, and she ran upstairs to get Mandy to get them the fuck out of the house. Well, the dude thought that she just ran somewhere else in the house. So while Sonya and Mandy Rose got the fuck out of the house, called the cops, the dude was still in the house when the cops showed up. They took him away, arrested him, and the match got changed to a loser leaves WWE match that Sonya lost, so that she could have some time off TV to fucking recover from this shit. But yeah, like, it's just fucking creepy, right?
Yeah, that feels definite. Like, what was it? What's her name? I can't remember the name. Feels definitely like that. The same reasoning like that dude who shot Reagan.
Oh yeah.
Kind of. Not Farrah Fawcett. Who was it?
It was the woman that was in The Exorcist, wasn't it? Not The Exorcist, Jesus. Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, I think so. But it feels very much like that kind of mentality behind it, which is just, just a whole new level.
Yeah, and like the fact that he was in there trying to kidnap her, like he's like, I didn't want to hurt her, but I knew she'd probably resist. And she was an former MMA fighter herself, and she's a lesbian, so I don't know what he was thinking. That might have something to do with it. You know, these deranged fucks who think that, because once you get to the point where it's a stalker obsession, like you have to go like Criminal Minds, like get into the fucked up quote unquote reasoning that they have, because a person doesn't just develop an obsession out of nowhere. Even if it's a fucked up, stupid, like weird goddamn mindset, there's something there. Jodie Foster, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, but maybe because there are some straight guys that genuinely believe that they're the dick that'll turn the lesbian straight or something like that. Or there's also the possibility that he was so obsessed by her that he didn't want her to lose her hair. Like it's so fucking weird, and we're not gonna know all about it. And I don't want to know all about it, quite honestly. I think the fact that this dude got the attention that he did is absolutely ridiculous. He's currently being held without possibility of bail. They filed a protective order against him. I don't know how you fix this. All I know is if I was in this situation, I'd be terrified forever because, I don't know.
It used to be sanatoriums.
Yeah.
Is where you would end up, but
Yeah, but I
not a
mean,
lot of those float around anymore.
I know there has to be some sort of therapeutic rehabilitation for people who have stalker obsessions, but like, this is, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how. I know that I'm already paranoid as fuck. Like my neighbor, for example, I think they get Meals on Wheels or something because every day this neighbor right directly across the street from me, there is a new car that pulls out in front, parks on the street, and is there for a while. Like too long to be Meals on Wheels, but they're there long enough to be a visitor, and it's almost always a different car. Sometimes it's multiple cars, but I think that might be a different thing. But there's always
It might
someone
be
here.
some sort of care.
Yeah, very true. Could be home care, but
Because not every home care is a one, like, this is your nurse. It is a nurse will.
yeah, it's very possible. All I know is every time I look out there and I see that there's a car that I don't know parked directly opposite my house, I get paranoid. I'm thinking like, why are they outside my house? Is there someone in there staring at me? Are they trying to look at me? Like, it's stupid because obviously that's not the case. And I'm not doing anything that would warrant observation anyway. And hell, it could be someone on my block that is a criminal suspect if it is someone being observant. I don't fucking know. All I know is my life is so doldrum, boring, not important in terms of criminal activity that I can't imagine that.
It's the Disturbia kind of aspects.
I don't.
Have you ever seen that movie?
No, I don't know what the fuck that is.
It's kind of a twist on Rear View Window, but basically someone gets locked in their house and now they're just watching their neighborhood.
Yeah.
And they start to notice things.
Yeah, it's possible. I don't know. Because there have been some things I'm a little worried about because, we get a lot of mail.
He's such a nice man.
Yeah.
I never would have thought.
Yeah. We get a lot of mail for people who used to live here.
Yeah.
And some of them are from government agencies. And so my paranoid mind is like, well, if that person ever does something fucked up, wherever the hell they are, they might come here to try to get them. Which means that I might get fucking almost arrested at some point, or possibly even arrested if they don't know how to identify the person, for literally no reason and out of nowhere. And I'm home all the time now because I'm a homemaker. I'm the housewife. And so just the idea that I don't know. My paranoia will take literally any tiny thread of anything, even if it's an imaginary thread, and weave it into a fucking panic quilt, whatever the fuck that means. But yeah. And it all just stems from my neighbor getting cars coming to their house every day. It's nothing. It doesn't impact my life at all, but that's how my paranoia works, and it's obnoxious, and I'm trying to work on it, but it's something I live with. But yeah, if I say that because, like, if someone had attempted to fucking kidnap me, some stalker, some shit like that, I don't know that I could ever be comfortable again. Like, I don't know how much of this is something that she would like to be known on the internet. I can't imagine why it would be a problem, but You have some loose connections, or at least loose awareness of the black market and shadier shit that way. Um,
It's
when
much easier where the people I know
yeah,
who would be like this is probably lower this state on your travel bracket. Um, like Portland currently. Portland is where it's mainly happening, but Oregon as a whole is doing this too. And it's a lot of things just now coincide to make it very easy to kidnap people
yeah,
and not be followed.
yeah.
Oregon does not register cars to owners. It is your car is registered to itself. So if you steal a car, they have no idea who's driving it
That's fucking
or who you.
stupid.
Police now cannot follow you for more than 2 miles. Their insurance does not cover it.
Jesus Christ.
If you speed, they will not follow you
That's wow.
unless you prove imminent danger to someone in the car, not even out on the street. So if you chuck someone into a trunk of a stolen car in Oregon and drive faster than in the speed limit for 2 miles, you're in the clear. Because they also are planning on getting rid of gender, race, and a few other things on APBs.
Well, that's alarming.
Just a whole lot of little things that seemed like a good idea, ending in
Yeah. Once you
something
zoom out,
that sounds terrible once you pile them all up.
yeah, you zoom out and you look at the painting you've painted, and you're just like, oh shit! All those individual colors added up to a murder scene. But yeah,
Which reminds me, I'm trying to get it so I can get it framed. My old dog had an APB put out on him.
What?
Calvin, the little border collie corgi.
I remember Calvin.
There's an official APB in Washington's records put out on him.
Why?
It's actually a kind of hilarious story. He was very old at this point, and so he kind of just trundled along. But he taught the lab that my sister had how to open the gate to the backyard.
Oh no.
So he just then leaves with bringing this big old purebred American lab with him. And mind you, for the listeners, Calvin was 14 and dying of cancer from what we learned, so he's not fast.
Nah, he's the elder statesman. He'd be on a walker if he was a person.
And the lab is stupid and will just follow him. So there's a 1-year-old lab following his little old man dog, and Calvin got tired. Calvin was very aware of how cute he was. He found a woman pulling into a driveway, minivan unloading the kids, and just proceeded to sit down in front of her and whine.
Aww.
She, finding him and Thor quite adorable, brings them inside, and her husband is a police officer, and to see if anyone lost a dog, she convinced him to submit an APB across the entire state.
Wow.
So, which then was even funnier, as my mom, searching because she didn't want to tell me that she lost my dog,
Yeah.
asked a mail carrier, who then asked a police officer who at that moment got the all points bulletin about two dogs.
Fucking hell. Well, at least it worked.
And yeah, and it's an actual, like, if you see these people, arrest them kind of bulletin, because he didn't change it. Just put the dog's pictures on there.
Oh, man. Yeah, you need to get that and frame it. That's awesome.
But the last thing I wanted to talk about, which is fantastic news. Well, it also depends on how you feel about Crunchyroll.
Well, can I say one last thing on the topic of kidnapping?
Yeah.
All I was going to say when I brought up the shady shit and the black market is that when Brie was a little baby, she was a blue-eyed. I think she had brown hair. Maybe she was blonde. I don't know. But she was a little baby in a grocery store with her mom, and there was an attempt by someone trying to steal her for fucking body parts or whatever. There was an attempt to steal Brie as a baby. And because of that, Brie's mom was paranoid as fuck to even let her out in the yard by herself. She wouldn't let her go to friends, even though it's weirdly enough, every time she was around, like family members, they treated her terribly, but that's not beside the point. But yeah, if I had a fucking baby and there was an attempt to steal them, I could totally see why that would just wreck my ability to think that they're safe anywhere. Like, just paranoia all around.
And that's the weird thing. It's, like, weirdly more of an issue than people think it is.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many reasons why hospitals, like, where the babies are, there's specifically guards and locked doors for reasons.
Yeah, and it's not because the baby's going to try to break out.
No, it's because some people can't have kids or want to sell kids
Yeah.
And then just think, steal it from a hospital.
Yeah, it's nuts. But yeah, anyway, so your good news, something about Crunchyroll.
This depends on how you feel about Crunchyroll. I have mixed feelings because they've had a problem with paying the people they're getting their product from. Because a few years ago they had disputes because they funneled money into basically their own animation studio in San Francisco instead of paying the Japanese companies what they were owed.
Oh, that's scummy.
Mm-hmm. And it was honestly a very, like, it was not even a good anime from what I've heard.
Of course.
But it, basically, in response to this kind of treatment, I believe 32 now different broadcasters have signed up together and created a shared YouTube account. And they're going to start posting full subbed episodes on YouTube.
Wow.
So this is everything from like Shonen Jump to Slice of Life to TV Tokyo.
Wow. Damn, I'm going to have to look that up.
Well, and the whole point was that they understand piracy is a thing, and they're trying to go with Valve's method, which is make it easier and more accessible.
Yeah, just stifle the market.
If you can watch the full episode on YouTube and they still get a cut because YouTube has ads, or even if you watch it with ad blocker, like not everyone's watching it with ad blocker. That's still a little bit of money you made without dealing with another company or piracy websites.
Nice. You know what? That's pretty fucking cool.
Especially since, in sad news, Kiss Anime has officially been taken down and is dead.
Yeah, I saw something about that. How what happened?
Um, the overarching theory is that because of apps like TikTok in this lockdown and people trying to get clout, it became too popular and well known. And given it is a piracy website,
Yeah. Those don't survive if they're well known.
hmm so basically, those people being like, "Here's the best anime websites to watch for free," could slowly be killing these websites.
Oh. Well, there'll
But
always be more.
honestly, if there's then a legitimate source to get it for free, that will also kill them. So
Definitely. Well,
but either way, I think it's good because with VPNs being cheap, you can then watch whatever you want from wherever you want and don't have to deal with localization. And I don't think piracy websites will totally disappear because they're not location blocked like YouTube, but I don't know if they'll do that for.
we'll just
I
have to
doubt
wait
it
and
because
see.
I already their channel is already up. It doesn't have any videos on it, but it's up.
What's the channel?
It's any free, I believe. I can double check.
Yeah.
It's like anime and something else mixed together, but it's on. It's up. It just has no videos. But it is all in Japanese, so I have no idea what it says.
Yeah. Well, I'll look into it and we'll see what we can do. But well, I think that just about wraps up this episode. I gotta go lay down. My back is not holding up. Thank you for being here with me again, Caleb. I'm glad to have you back. After
Anime log.
Annie Long.
Anime log. It's Toei, and a few other Tozen, Shini, like a pretty big animation companies actually.
Anime LOG.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, location India. I thought you said this was Japanese companies.
That's what it says. I'm literally looking at articles talking about it.
Yeah, because I'm seeing a few videos are already on here. There's some AMVs. There's an entire episode of Black Clover. This is a little unorganized.
Yeah, from what I saw, the company said they'll probably be fully organized and go it and like have most of their log on there by 2022.
Huh. Well, we'll have to keep an eye on all that and see what comes from it.
But I think it's a good move, honestly, because there's a lot of like you're losing a lot of revenue, and I know they notoriously don't care, unless it gets really bad. But I still think it's good for them.
I think so too. So, thank you for being here again. I'm glad we were able to be here this week, Caleb. And for everyone out there listening, thank y'all for listening. Made it to this part of if you made it this far into it, let us know in the comments what your favorite anime is. Mine is My Hero Academia, because I'm a basic bitch. What about you, Caleb?
It honestly is a toss-up between Code Geass and Dot Hack.
Wow, okay. Well,
depends on what I'm in the mood for.
Yeah. Well, thank y'all very much for joining us on next week's episode. We'll maybe get around to the things we were planning to do this week. But I'm glad I had more fun doing this time. Didn't get as mad, didn't just devolve
Very
into.
relaxing.
Oh yeah, it was just a fucking chat. So until next week, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Vivian,
And I'm Caleb.
and we'll see you next time. Bye!
Bye bye.